Hello and welcome to an unboxing. I feel like this year's unboxings are very shoe heavy, and that's probably wedding related. I picked up my bridal shoes, so let's unbox her together. As we can tell, she is a pair of Jimmy Choos, and I feel like right from the beginning I was already leaning on Jimmy Choo. They make gorgeous shoes. They have a very extensive bridal collection. I say bridal because it's all white, and historically the shoes that I have purchased from Jimmy Choo have been very comfortable. I made this decision over 2 appointments. This is the receipt, because even though I absolutely fell in love with these, I wanted time to think on them, because I'm expecting to be in these shoes for about anywhere from 12 to 14 hours total, probably longer. So I wanted to make sure that I was 150% sure in my decision. So you guys have an idea, a few other pairs of shoes I considered not Jimmy Choo were the Manolo Blahniks, but there was not a single store I could find in Sydney that had 34s that I could try on. I fell in love with a pair of Christian Louboutins from their Miss Z collection, which is meant to be more comfortable. However, again, didn't have my size in stock anywhere for me to try, and I wasn't going to play Russian roulette with my wedding heels. These are the shoes in their dust bags. Again, most shoes you get 2 dust bags, 1 per shoe. I generally cram both of them into the same, but here we go. I'll take all the stuffing out because there's always plenty of that. I also will say I'm about to probably butcher the pronunciation of these shoes, because despite 2 separate trips, I've never actually heard any of the sales associates ever say the name of these shoes, and if Google is correct, it is French. So without further ado, these are the Jimmy Choo Heloises. So they are absolutely gorgeous. Yes, they are as high as they look, but we're girl mathing this because of the platform. So let's look at these shoes in a little bit more detail. These are gorgeous. They are on a block heel, which was not mandatory, but definitely a preferred criteria for me. So they are on a block heel. This itself is 120 millimeters, which is 12 centimeters, or if you use inches, these are 4.7 inches. However, the platform here is 30 millimeters or 3 centimeters or 1.2 inches. And I feel like my math is, that means this arch realistically is the same as a 9 centimeter heel or a 90 millimeter heel. And that for me is very doable. So it's not a 12 centimeter heel, it's a 9 centimeter heel. On the front, very simple. You've got this knot strap across the front. And I will say, despite being brand new, these are very soft. So yes, I will definitely break them in a little bit, but I feel like the bulk of the work has already been done. They're very soft. They don't have any hard cardboard inside, and I will insert a photo of another pair of Jimmy Choos that I did have my mind on, and unfortunately one of the big reasons was because the front section on that particular heel it almost felt like hard cardboard, and I was like, this is not going to be comfortable for 14 hours. Absolutely not. Also, I had no idea when I was ever going to get to wear those shoes again. I feel like I can make this work with some of my gowns, my longer dresses, some of my maxis, even this would look cute with tailored trousers. Obviously that's a post-wedding debacle to deal with. However, the pearl detailing, as gorgeous as it is, when was I ever going to rewear those? We have the adjustable ankle strap here. This as well was a huge must-have a strap. I know it sounds absurd, but there is a pair of Jimmy Choos that I have, my Chris 100s. I absolutely love them, but the strap up here is like one of those tie knot style ones, and it never stays in place. And so I wanted something that was secure, and for me, there's enough holes here for it to be tied around my ankle that I don't need to go and take it anywhere to get more holes put in it. Now, these are made from Nappa leather, and what defines Nappa leather as a characteristic is that it is very soft. However, the animal that it comes from can be, you know, a calf or a lamb, so it could come from any animal, and I don't think any of the information specifically says which type of animal this has come from. This is just Nappa leather, which is the soft component of this, because this is incredibly squishable and it actually feels very like hugging around the foot, as opposed to having something that's just like stiff and almost feels like a solid barrier. Sizing wise, I found that these were like pretty true to size. I am a 34, tried and true, definitely with Jimmy Choo, probably across the board as well. So I got these in a 34. I will say, however, if you do tend to have a wider foot, I would say maybe half up. Size up half a size. Can't English. Moving on to the cost. These shoes were 1,650 Australian dollars. Absolutely gorgeous, and I think definitely worth it. If you were someone who was looking for maybe a slight discount, I know at the time that I purchased these, Farfetch had some sizes going around the 1,400 mark, but they didn't have a 34. And again, a lot of this goes back to I wanted to try these in store. It was never really about the money factor, because it is, you know, definitely they're not cheap shoes, but I have bought more expensive shoes online without trying them. This for me was definitely a comfort factor, because this was going to be something I was going to be wearing realistically from about 10 a.m. in the morning to midnight. So we're looking at like 14 hours of these shoes, and I wanted to be 100% certain in my decision. That pretty much sums up today's unboxing. I hope you guys like the choice that I made for my wedding shoe. I definitely love them. I'm probably going to spend the next little bit trying to clonk around the apartment in them a little bit, because as comfortable as they are, I think I need to get familiar with it. 12 centimeters at the end of the day is high. My logic is 9, but she is still 12 nonetheless. So I'm probably going to clonk around the apartment a little bit in these.